In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. The Seven Skies, Part 4. This time I will talk about two topics. Topic number 1, the stones coming from the sky. Quran several times has talked about the stones coming from the sky on the earth. For example, chapter 34, that is Surah Sabah, verse 9 states, "So they not then consider what is before them and what is behind them of the sky and the earth. If we want, we can cause the earth to swallow them or bring down upon them a portion of from the sky." I will just talk about this part, that we can bring down on them a portion from the sky. From the sky, the asteroids, which are stones, can come on the earth, and also the comets. The comets come from far away, and they are bigger than the asteroids, but it happens very rarely that they come on the earth. They are made of mainly ice and some part stone, or some part of that might be iron. So I will just talk about the stones, the asteroids falling from the sky on the earth. Asteroids are small or large stones that might hit the earth. The earth is the third planet from the sun. Next to the earth is Mars, and next to the Mars is Jupiter. Between Mars and Jupiter, there are several trillion stones. Several trillion is really a lot. Each trillion is 1,000 billions, and each billion is 1,000 millions. And here we have several trillions of stones. These are close to each other, and they move like the earth. They move around the sun on a path which is called the asteroid belt. Some of them are very small, at the size of a grain or even dust, and some of them are large. Some might have diameters of several kilometers. When they come on the Earth's atmosphere, and the small ones might come about 1,000 of them at the same time. And every day these small ones come on the Earth's atmosphere. Those which are very small at the upper part of the sky that has air, the 5 skies which have air at the upper part, because of their severe speed, their high speed, and also contact with the air, they become so hot that they become gases and they disperse in the sky. Those which are larger come down, but at the mesosphere, again they become gases and disperse. But occasionally some of them which are larger, come down and hit the ground. In the history of the earth, several thousands of these big stones have hit the earth. Most of them have fallen into the oceans. When they hit the earth, their speed is 30 times faster than the bullet. So they can cause a lot of damages. I will talk about one of them, which is the most important asteroid that has fallen on the earth. Before this, one large asteroids have hit the earth, but this one is important because I will explain why. 65 million years ago, a very large asteroid hit the earth, and because of the accident, the earth's surface became so hot that all the forests were burned, and a thick smoke covered the earth, all over the earth. At that time, the dinosaurs, which are the largest animals that God has made so far on the earth, not in the sea. At that time, the dinosaurs were living. In the sea, there has been, and there is still, larger animals even than the dinosaurs. All the dinosaurs were really ruling the earth. And they would eat all other animals. And grass, those who eat grasses, they would eat the grasses. Because of this thick smoke, all the dinosaurs died. And the mammals are those animals who do not lay egg, but they bring out a baby, and they feed the baby by their breasts. They feed them milk. At that time, the mammals were at the size of a mice. And because they were so small, they were under the level of the smoke, and they survived. The mammals, which were so small, they would hardly be seen by the dinosaurs and be eaten. But still, the safe thing for them was to stay in their holes in the daytime, and they would come out at night for feeding. And at night, there is not enough food for them. After the dinosaurs died, the mammals could eat freely, could run on the earth freely. Some of them who would eat the other mammals would follow them, and they had to escape, ran fast, and gradually they became larger. And mammals like wolves, horses, elephants, then monkeys, and finally the human being came into existence. When this very large asteroid hit the Earth, it caused the Earth's rotation around itself to be deviated slightly, and this caused the 4 seasons. From that time on, there has been 4 seasons on the Earth. The scientists say that if this asteroid had hit the Earth even 1 second later, it would have fallen into the sea, into the oceans, and would not have caused fire, and the dinosaurs would have survived. Here we see the will of God, that this asteroid hit the earth at the exact moment to kill the dinosaurs, and as the result of that, finally the human being came into existence. The second topic that I talk today about are three verses of Surah Ar-Rahman. Ar-Rahman means merciful, and it talks about the mercy of God upon the human being and jinns. According to this surah, there are jinns living on earth like the human being, and they have wisdom. They can do good or evil. They are responsible in front of God for their actions like the human beings, and again, like the human beings, they can go to heavens or hell. We, the humans, are made of regular matter, the matter that we see it, and we are dealing with it every day. The stones, woods, and so on. It seems that the jinn is made from the dark matter. Dark matter was discovered in the years 1970s. And the only thing that we know about that is that it has weight. And its amount is much more than the regular matter. Its amount is close to 6 times more than the regular matter. The cosmologists say that the dark matter made the stars, the galaxies, the planets, including the Earth. And after everything was made, then the regular matter, our matter, was deposited on it. The cosmologists say that the dark matter can go through us without we noticing it, without our noticing it. And we can go through the dark matter without noticing it. And some of the cosmologists believe that, like the regular matter, in the dark matter, there are living creatures, including people like us who have wisdom, and they have civilizations. But because they started a long time before us, they have made their civilizations a long time ago. Quran in chapter 17, that is Surah Kahf, verse 50 states, "And when we said to the angels to prostrate to Adam, they prostrated except Iblis, who was of the jinn, so he disobeyed his Lord's order. Iblis, who is the same as devil, is from the jinns, according to Quran. So this means that all the jinns are not bad. Some of them are good and some are bad. Some of them do good things and they go to the heavens. Some of them do bad things like the human beings and they go to the hell. According to some verses of Quran, jinns and devil were made from fire. This is because God made them a long time before us. And at that time, the regular matter and dark matter, both of them were made at the same time. And both of them were very hot, even more than the regular fire. In chapter 7, that is Surah A'raf, the devil says to God how he errs the human beings. He says, "Then I will certainly come to them from before them and from behind them and from their right hand side and from their left hand side." So the devil can go inside us from all around us and we do not notice it. And it seems that devil, like the other jinns, is made of the dark matter. Topic number 2. In topic number 2, I will talk about 3 verses of Surah Ar-Rahman, verses 33, 34, and 35. Ar-Rahman, which is the name of this surah, means merciful. And that is God. God is merciful. And it talks about the mercy of God upon the human beings and the jinns. Verse 33, it says, "O assembly of the jinn and the men, if you are unable to pass through the regions of the skies and the earth, then pass through. You cannot pass through except with power." So this verse says that the jinns and the human beings can go high into the sky or deep into the earth, but they should have power to do that. Power by the use of advanced science. B, verse 34. It states, "Which then of the blessings of your Lord will you both deny?" Talking to both means to we and the jinns. It says then, "Which one of the blessings of your Lord will you deny?" This verse saying which blessings of your Lord you both will deny has been repeated 31 times in this surah. Verse 35, the last verse, C, verse 35, that is the last verse that I talk about it today. It says, in verse 33, it said that you can go through the sky and through the earth. Now, what you should have power. Now it talks about the dangers which are for going through the sky or deep into the earth. It says, "The flames of pure fire and minute particles will be sent upon you too, then you cannot get help." I have to explain briefly about this verse. The matter, as we know, can be in 3 different states: solid, liquid, and gas. For example, water. At the temperature of 0 and below 0, it is ice, that is solid. Between 0 and 100, it is liquid, which is water, and at temperature of 100 degrees centigrade and above that, it boils and becomes vapor, which is gas. But the matter that we know, I said it has three states. It has a fourth state also, and that is called plasma. The matter is composed of atoms. Atoms directly or a group of atoms connecting to each other and making the molecules. The atom is made of a central part, which is called the proton, and it has positive electrical charge. Around the proton, one or several minute particles move. They are called electrons. Electrons have negative electrical charge. Hydrogen atom has one electron, helium atom has two electrons, carbon has four, and this list continues. All the elements that we know, each of them have a certain number of electrons. And the electrons move very fast around the proton. At the temperature of 3000 degrees centigrade and above that, the protons and the electrons become separated from each other, and each of them moves independently and free from the other one. This is called the plasma state. And this state, the temperature of the surface of the sun is 6000 degrees centigrade. And the temperature of the surface of all other stars is above 3000 degrees, and in some of them it is several times as the temperature of the surface of the sun. So in the whole universe, the matter is in the plasma state. And in fact, the common state of the matter in the universe is plasma. Just on Earth, with rather low temperature, it is in the states that we see, three different states: solid, liquid, and gas. Even in some of the planets which move around the stars, and they are close to the star and are very hot, the atom can be in the state of plasma. Now I will repeat verse 35 again. It says, "The flames of pure fire and minute particles will be sent on you too, then you cannot get help." Here we have two words, pure fire and minute particles. The proton, which is much bigger than the electron, it has positive electrical charge, and it is and when they come towards the human beings, they come in a group of them come at the same time, lots of them. They have a lot of energy, and God here has talked about it as pure fire. Like the pure fire, flames of the fire, sorry. Like the flames of the fire, the protons have lots of energy. And the minute particles is referring to the electrons. When we hammer a piece of iron that we have made it very hot before, and it is red hot, small pieces can be thrown out in different directions from it. Also, if we hammer a plate of copper, this happens. These are minute particles. Electron, like these minute particles, has been thrown out from the electrons and has become separated from them. If we go in the sky, after a short distance, we will reach these charged particles, the protons and the electrons. The flame of fire, proton, and the minute particles, the electrons, and they will kill the human being. Unless by using the science we made equipments that covers us, or the spacecraft that we are in it, to protect ourselves from them. Otherwise, they would kill any living organisms which is there. Here it talks about the human beings and the genes going in high in the sky or through the earth. Because we do not have information about the gene, we do not know what are the charged particles for them. But because the name of gene, this word has been used several times in Quran, and in fact there is one chapter by the name of Surah Jinn, which the whole chapter is about the jinn. I think there is a very strong possibility that in the future we will know what is jinn and we will have more information about it. And at that time, we can find out what are the charged particles which are specifically for them. The verse says that you can go high in the sky or you can go deep into the earth, but you should have power. And it gives us, in fact, it promises to jinn and to the human beings that we can go deep into the earth. Now, the earth, I talked a little bit about the earth. The earth is made of three parts. The outer part that we, on the land, we live on it, and also the bottom of the sea is called crust. Just below the crust, there is another part which is called mantle. It is not that hard like the crust, but it is not quite liquid also. It is like jelly. And this part is called mantle, the second part of the earth. The third part is the central core, which is at the middle of the Earth, at the center of the Earth. The temperature of the mantle just below the crust is about 1200 degrees centigrade. And at the central core, it is 6000 degrees. So, little bit deep in the mantle, but quite close to the crust, the temperature will reach to 3000 degrees centigrade. And from this area all the way to the central core of the Earth, the temperature is more than 3000 degrees, and there are charged particles that threaten the human being for going there. So far, the human being has not gone into the Earth because there is not any incentive for it. For going in the sky, there is incentive. The highly industrialized countries, the big powers, each of them have spent billions of dollars for going in the sky, for making spacecrafts and sending the human being or devices into the sky, because it has a lot of benefit for them. With the cameras that they have in the spacecrafts, they can get pictures from all the countries in the world, all over the world. And they can get pictures from their armies, their arms, how much arms they have, which kind of arms they have, where they are located, and so on. And in the case of war, the computers which are inside these spacecrafts can order the missiles on the ground to hit a special area of the enemy's army. But there is not incentive for the human being to go deep into the Earth. Still, there is a little bit desire, not comparable to going into the sky, for going inside the crust. Because inside the crust, both on the land and at the bottom of the sea, there are mines, oil mines, coal mines, minerals like gold and silver, and so on. So the human being has gone down a little bit deep in these areas. The deepest area that the human being has gone on the land is in South Africa for gold mining, and the human being has gone down 3.4 kilometers in it. The average thickness of the crust at the land is 45 kilometers. So it is even less than 1/10 of it. And the deepest place that the human being has gone deep into the earth, not the human being himself, but his devices, at the bottom of the sea is 2 kilometers. The human being has drilled the bottom of the oceans up to 2 kilometers. The average thickness of the crust of the sea is 6 or 7 kilometers. So still that is much less than the whole crust. Now there might be an incentive for human beings to go deep into the earth. The scientists state that the central core of the earth is made of 80% iron and 20% nickel. But recently, that is in the year 2006, 3 American scientists wrote an article and they proclaimed that besides the iron and nickel, there are gold and platinum in the central core, and both of them are in pure state. This might be an incentive for the human being for the future to go deep inside the earth. That is needs a lot of money, so the human being has not done it so far. To go deep inside the earth for reaching this gold and platinum. And platinum is much more expensive than the gold. Thank you very much, and God bless you.